Hey class, my name's Will Homskis, and I'm coming to you from my house today. Normally I do my videos from my classroom, but it's summertime and they're cleaning the classroom right now, so I can't get in this week. But I'll do it from here. So this is for our first discussion thread on the dissertation research. So the two dissertations that I looked up and I've decided to use and I think it's really interesting because I'm thinking about trying to do my dissertation on something on the lines of the Confederate flag. Being that I've been born and raised in Georgia, and South Georgia for that, the Confederate flag has always been around, has always been in sight. You'll see people with it all the time. Heck, even students today at where I teach here in Georgia come to school with Confederate flag stuff on their bags and things like that. For me, I never really grew up with the flag in my household, never really grew up with it around me. So to me, it doesn't have much of I don't really care when I was growing up. I didn't really care about it. It didn't mean anything to me. Um, but in my dissertation, I've decided if the school will allow me, I want to research into why the South has such an infatuation with this flag, and what's the history behind it, and also how symbols can mean different things to different people, but how symbols are also used can change that meaning over time. Um, and so two of the dissertations I looked at, one is written by John Cadley. I think I said their last name correct, but they wrote on the Southern symbols and community interaction with the Confederate battle flag as a sacred and profane and offensive symbol. And then the other one that I looked at was the Confederate nationalism in Georgia, Louisiana, and Virginia during the American Civil War. So the reason I looked at these two, and they play a big role into kind of what I'm wanting to look into myself, is they both show something about the flag. So the first one I talked about delves into how the Confederate flag is still around today. It shows sources in the newspaper about, like, in Alabama when they were talking about getting the flag changed, or excuse me, in Mississippi, where in Georgia for a long time our state flag had the Confederate battle flag on our state flag, and it's been changed now. Um, but it shows that to some this is sacred, and to the some it's just offensive. And this source shows different writings where somebody is adamantly fighting for keeping this flag, keeping it in our heritage, keeping it around. There's nothing wrong with it. While others show that this flag has been used in rallies and lynchings and killings. And you can see really in this dissertation, there's a lot of research and stuff in it that just shows how in depth this conversation really can be. Um, and I think this is a great source for me to use because it would also help me finding some of these sources maybe I haven't seen before when looking this up. And then the other source I thought was interesting to draw from because the first one's a lot about what's wrong with the flag. And the first one talks about kind of where this Confederate nationalism has come from. And it delves into Georgia, Louisiana, and Virginia during this time of the Civil War, and it actually draws kind of a little bit past it, and it shows where some of these people have kept this love for the flag because of just really fighting for Southern pride, is what they said, or Southern this and that, and I want to be able to, when I write this, be able to look into both of these things because I think it's important when you view any argument to go in with an open mind and look at both sides. Now, personally, going into it, I'm not a big fan of the flag. I mean, I'm fine with it being gone. It doesn't really bother me. And if it's offending a ton of people, why keep it? But the more I've read, the more I see where some people, on the other hand, that's the opposite of what they wanted. So, and I thought what was a cool argument, and it's something I've always thought about it, was from the first source. It talks about not getting rid of the flag, which I agree with. I don't think you get rid of it completely, even though it wouldn't bother me if it was. I think what you need to do is if an individual wants to have it, have at it. If a museum wants to have it, have at it. But the issue that comes up in this dissertation, the same issue that I've kind of noticed in a little bit of research I've done myself, is a lot of public institutions, as in like courthouses and places like that, have these flags flying. And the issue I have with that is I don't think that any flag but the United States flag should be flying, or the state flag in which the state is should be flying at any government building. And I think that if you're going to force people to go to the courthouse when they get tickets and do different things, you shouldn't be flying a flag that some see as hatred and as just a terrible flag. And I think these dissertations do a great job of showing kind of both sides. One really delves into the issues and what's wrong with it, while the other one delves into where did this love come from by seeing what happened in the fighting of the Civil War in the first place. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, and I'm looking forward to the rest of this class with y'all.